to support B-Cat. B-Cat is the heart and soul of Brooklyn. I have a special guest for y'all. I had to put this show together because y'all seen the first show. She's an advocate of domestic violence awareness. I'd like to welcome to the show Miss Nichole Sharp.
Thank you so much for having me.
How
on
are
the show.
you, Nichole?
I'm doing very well.
It's nice to meet you. First off, I'd like to tell the viewers that I met her on MySpace, and I went to her profile, and I read her profile and everything. And as I was reading your profile, I was like, like in shock, And I noticed that your mom was murdered in a domestic violence situation with your father.
Right.
I mean, I was just so devastated just reading that. I mean, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm in a very good place right now.
Okay.
As an adult. This happened when I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm doing a whole lot better now.
Okay. So what made you, actually just go out and start, continuing on with this movement that you're doing?
Well, I just started last year advocating for domestic violence because I see that there's a lot of people in situations like my mom, and I just see the eventuality of those situations as death, because that's the eventuality of all domestic violence situations. So
right.
I wanted to use my life to help others.
Right.
So normally I wouldn't really, before I didn't really tell people about what has happened to me, so many of my friends and coworkers don't know. But I just said, you know what, I'm going to start telling people just so that it can help others to get out before it's too late.
Right. I want you to look into that camera and let everybody know actually what you're doing. Do you have any, like a website
Well, I just became affiliated with the Purple Ribbon Council.
Right.
And we advocate against domestic violence. Try to create programs for children. There's a Purple Ribbon Fund for children who have lost a parent or both parents to domestic violence, because when one kills the other one ends up in prison.
Right.
You become an orphan, and it's very, very, very difficult. I mean, I don't have words to explain how difficult it is to lose your parents like that in one night. So through the Purple Ribbon Council, we just had a great event called Girls Night Out to cut out domestic abuse. And it happens every first Thursday of Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Okay.
And Domestic Violence Awareness Month is now May. It used to be October, but now it's May. And it was a lot of fun. I had 2 representatives from Mayor Bloomberg's office to combat domestic violence come out and talk to the students at Empire Beauty School. And it was just very informative. These young ladies opened up and started talking about their own personal situations with domestic violence, and we were able to help them with materials that we had, and we still had fun, and I had a live band, and it's just a way for survivors to come together, and people who are in situations, still in domestic violence situations, to see the need to leave before it's too late, especially if they have children as well. I know a lot of people, they stay because of the children.
Right.
But as a child who grew up with domestic violence, trust me, it is not the right thing to do, because these children, for myself, I remember my own first memory as a child is a violent memory. Right. Of my father sexually abusing my mother right in front of me. I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Wow.
That's my first memory. So, and these memories, you can't get away from them. You teach your children the wrong way of life by subjecting them to domestic violence, to a violent environment full of domestic violence. I mean, I could have learned to be violent myself, but I didn't become violent. But a young lady can also, watching her father beat her mother or vice versa, grow up thinking it's okay to get beat up. He loves me. And that's not the way to teach your children. You don't really have to say anything to a child to teach them certain lessons. They just see it. They learn by your example. And a house full of violence is not conducive to a healthy upbringing at all.
Right. First of all, I'm proud of you. I just want to thank you for coming down to the show and sharing your story
My pleasure.
and everything. After the situation had occurred, did you have to go through therapy and everything, counseling?
Definitely. I have two younger siblings, a brother and sister, and myself. We had therapists assigned to us, and they never had experiences with children who have lost their parents
Right.
to domestic violence. So they were learning as they were going along. But it was very helpful. At first, we had a court-appointed therapist where we had to go to the courts to see this person, and I don't like court environment at all. So I suggested another environment. So
Right.
we ended up going someplace else, and it was very helpful. But like I said, they were learning as they went along, and I'm actually still in contact with that therapist,
Okay.
and with one of the therapists, my own therapist, and she's told me recently that since they've had us, they've had an influx of children who have lost their parents to domestic violence.
Wow.
So,
So, do you go out and speak on occasion, or?
well, I'm now starting to do that, like on
Okay.
this lovely show of yours. So I want to go out and do that some more. So
Hmm.
go to schools or any other kinds of venues where I can be able to talk to the masses.
Right. Because my first show I did, I was just explaining because I know when people go through domestic violence, being is that insecurity when somebody wants to beat up on you all the time? Is that they don't know how to communicate with you? Instead, they just want to hit you, just to, like it's a like authority kind of figure.
Well,
Is that what's that all about?
I know with my father's situation, he grew up seeing, well, he was abused as a child as well. So then he learned that. So then he carried that on throughout his life.
And he never got the proper help that he needed at that
No,
time.
no.
Because I spoke about that too. I was saying that some of y'all out there that's fighting with each other and abuse, they've been abused and they just carry that, for years, and then they bring it into relationship after relationship, and I don't
Yeah.
think that's right. If you
Yeah.
need help, go get some help, you know?
Yeah, some people don't think they need help. This is just a way of life that they've always been subjected to. But I mean, as an adult, you have enough sense to know, look, I have a problem. Let me stop.
Right.
You know.
But one thing I admire about you is that, like you said, you never brought that anger into your future relationships.
Right.
You would rather go out there and help other people, but other
Right.
people do it vice versa. They bring that anger
Yes.
into their next relationship, and that's a good thing. I'm very proud of you, and I'm sure all the viewers that's watching out here is very proud of Nichole, doing her thing and everything. So, like I said, right now, your father is in prison right now. Is he locked up?
He's locked away, but actually he's coming out on early release next month, June 19th.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm
Have you
trying.
have you been keeping in touch with your father, or
No, I've never been in touch with him since he was incarcerated.
has he been trying to like call family members to try to find out where you're located?
No,
No.
no. At the beginning, I did try. I wrote to him
Right.
once or twice with Bible scriptures to try to help him.
Right.
But I can't help him.
Right.
You know, still the anger was there
Right.
against him. But I said, let me just do this. And then I never wrote back to him again. It's too painful.
Right.
And just to know that he's coming out and my mom is in a grave is like so horrifying to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to get him deported back to his country where he was born.
Okay.
So that's going to be a process.
Right. Well, I mean, keep working on that,
Yeah.
And we can all understand the feeling that you don't want to have, no contact, nothing to do with this.
Right.
It's not
It's not that I'm fearful of him at all.
Mm-hmm.
I have no fear of any human beings because we're all human beings. We come from the same place.
Right.
I just don't want to be around him.
Right.
I'm already reminded by all my memories